Tonight, the economy is ailing and it's affecting our health. Millions of Americans say they're not going to the doctor or taking their medicine because they just don't have the money. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, 14 days and counting. John McCain tells supporters, don't count him out.
Be strong, have courage, and fight.
Barack Obama, meanwhile, keeps the focus on the economy.
A crisis like this calls for the best ideas, the brightest minds.
The shrinking job market, white-collar workers forced into blue-collar jobs. What would the candidates do to put Americans back to work? We'll tell you where they stand. And a simply smashing idea for getting rid of stress.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. The economic downturn is not only hurting our wallets, it may be hazardous to our health as well. It's forcing millions of Americans to put off needed health care because they simply can't afford it. In a new survey out tonight, a third of adults say they've had trouble paying medical bills in the past year. Now, 2 years ago, only 1 in 4 said that. And nearly half say a family member had to cut back on necessary care like doctor's visits. More now from Dr. John LaPook.
Good, nice.
Gabrielle Revere looks like the picture of health.
Eyes at the light. Excellent.
But she's taking a chance, skipping visits to the doctor, even when she had strep throat.
Is it worth the $300 to go into the doctor's office to tell me that I have strep throat and then go have a prescription filled that my health insurance doesn't cover for another $50?
A survey today finds the ailing economy is forcing more than 80 million Americans, even insured people like Revere, to cut back on health care. 36% of Americans are delaying care, a big jump from 6 months ago. About 30% skip a test or treatment. 27% don't fill a prescription.
How many of you have missed appointments? How many of you have missed screenings? Medications?
Another survey shows it's young adults who have been hit the hardest. Nearly 70% say the downturn has made it more difficult in the last year to pay for medical expenses.
I haven't had a physical or any kind of just regular checkup in a long time.
Healthcare economists warn that skimping on even minor illness can have serious consequences.
When people cut back on preventive care, they're really cutting back on their own lives, on the health and quality of their lives in the long run.
But it's hard to think about the long run, even though Gabrielle Revere knows she's gambling with her health.
If I'm sick, I'm pretty much up the creek.
Even though young adults report cutting back the most, this is obviously a problem for all ages.
And, John, some people may feel as if health care is something they can put off, but isn't that a dangerous assumption?
It is, Katie. You know, it's just not right for people to have to play doctor on themselves. Strep throat, for example, may seem like no big deal, but untreated, it can lead to rheumatic fever. That can lead to heart disease. So these statistics out today are a wake-up call. We got to, in the next administration, clean up the health care mess. That's going to be one of the first orders of business for the new president.
All right. John LaPook. John, thanks so much. And with just 2 weeks until Election Day, the candidates right now are concentrating on those battleground states all across the country. Dean Reynolds is probably getting a bit jet-lagged as he travels with Barack Obama. And, Dean, if it's Tuesday, it must be Miami. Good evening.
Good evening, Katie. And Barack Obama speaking behind me right now, doing what he's going to do for the next 2 weeks. Focus on the one issue that has had more of an impact on this race than any other, the economy.
I want to hear from our business leaders.
Campaigning on a theme of job creation, Obama convened a panel of experts and elected officials in Florida, where 11,000 jobs were lost last month alone.
That's why we're here today, because a crisis like this calls for the best ideas, the brightest minds, the most innovative solutions from every corner of this country.
The panelists, all supporters of Obama's, underline his call for temporary tax credits to companies that hire American workers and his commitment to renewable energies because of the potential they hold to create what he says will be 5 million new jobs. By contrast, he said his Republican rivals offered a 3-point plan.
Willful ignorance, wishful thinking, outdated ideology.
Obama's schedule has been altered because his 85-year-old grandmother, Madeline Dunham, has fallen seriously ill. She and her late husband, Stanley Dunham, helped raise Obama until his high school graduation.
She's been the rock of my family.
And when Obama speaks of her these days on the stump, his feelings of gratitude are obvious.
She's the one who taught me about hard work, She's the one who put off buying a new car or a new dress for herself so that I could have a better life.
On Friday, Obama flies to Hawaii to spend time with her, scrubbing trips to Wisconsin and Iowa before returning to the campaign trail on Saturday. Dropping off the campaign trail this close to the election says a couple of things about Obama, how close he is to his grandmother, and how confident he is about this campaign. Katie?
Dean Reynolds reporting from Miami tonight. Thanks, Dean. Meanwhile, John McCain hopes the Keystone State will be the key to a come-from-behind victory for him. Chip Reed is with the candidate in Pennsylvania. And Chip, John McCain's recently rediscovered the state because he's had to.
Absolutely right, Katie. With Barack Obama doing so well in so many Republican-leaning states, it's hard to see a way for John McCain to win without winning some Democratic states. And at the top of his list, Pennsylvania.
With just 2 weeks to go and a lot of ground to make up, John McCain today raced from one side of Pennsylvania to the other.
We need to win in Pennsylvania on November the 4th, and with your help, we're gonna win.
But it won't be easy. He's trailing by double digits in most statewide polls. After a surge in registration, Democrats now outnumber Republicans here by more than 1 million. And while Barack Obama recently drew 60,000 to a day of rallies in Philadelphia, just outside the city today, McCain had an audience of less than 500.
Don't give up hope. Be strong. Have courage and fight.
But the campaign insists they can win here, and they're pulling out all the stops. Running mate Sarah Palin, still popular with the party's base, was in conservative rural Pennsylvania this weekend. One key target for the campaign, Democrats who supported Hillary Clinton but are uneasy about Obama, especially in rural areas and white working-class suburbs. Blunt-speaking Democratic Congressman John Murtha, referring to some of his own constituents, recently said race is an issue.
Obama has got the problem, the racist issue in western Pennsylvania.
He later apologized, but late today, McCain responded to Murtha outside Pittsburgh.
This is a great part of America. This is a heartland of America. This is where people love their country and they serve it.
From here, McCain heads for New Hampshire, another Democratic state, and then it's back to playing defense in Ohio and Florida and a long list of Republican-leaning states where McCain is struggling. Katie?
Chip Reed with the McCain campaign in Pennsylvania tonight. The money gap, meanwhile, between the candidates continues to grow. The Federal Election Commission put out new numbers today that show Senator Obama entered this month with $134 million in the bank, $87 million more than Senator McCain. And Senator Obama's been using that advantage in the battleground states. Here's tonight's CBS News Campaign 08 Notebook. In Florida, Barack Obama has a slim lead in the battle for 27 electoral votes. He spent more than $2 million on ads in the state in the week that ended October 4th. John McCain spent $659,000. That same week, Senator Obama spent about $2 million in Virginia, hoping to turn the traditionally red state blue and capture its 13 electoral votes. John McCain spent a quarter as much. The race for North Carolina's 15 electoral votes is running just about even, but the Obama campaign outspent the McCain campaign nearly 8-1. And on the CBS News Money Watch, after yesterday's big 400-point advance in the Dow, there was a sell-off today. The Dow lost more than 200 points. Disappointing corporate earnings reports are one of the reasons, and there was another one after the market closed today. Yahoo reported third-quarter earnings plunged 64%. Yahoo is cutting about 1,500 jobs, or 10% of its workforce. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, when a crash is actually good for business. Well, this business anyway. But up next, what the presidential candidates would do to create jobs in our continuing series, Where They Stand. It's a very tough time to be looking for a job. The economy has been losing jobs at a rate of 1 every 30 seconds. That's 760,000 in the first 9 months of this year, the sharpest job losses since the months following the 9/11 attacks. So what would a President McCain or a President Obama do to turn that around? Jim Axelrod tells us in our special series, Where They Stand.
Okay, down you go.
Like a lot of guys with a finance career, Peter Halpern was watching the economy and worrying about supporting his wife Ava and daughter Katrina.
Up we go.
Red Daddy.
Okay, there you go.
So to deal with the heat and the pressure,
That looks good, bro.
Peter turned to the heat and the pressure.
When the sparks are flying and the tools are grinding and you hear the noise and...
I love it.
After years in the white-collar world, Peter Halpern is becoming a welder.
And most of the time, the people I've worked with or friends have kind of gone, huh? You're doing... Wait, hold on a second here.
Unemployed after folding his own investment company, Peter is now part of a worker training program in Hillsborough County, Florida. And he's not alone.
We're getting guys from 18 years old to 45 years old.
Which means busy days for Lee Middleton, Peter's welding instructor. In Florida, 3 nuclear power plants are currently operating, requiring hundreds of precision welders for maintenance. 2 more are in the works.
All the baby boomers are retiring, and there is nobody to replace them. So now all these people are realizing this and are coming for the money and the benefits and the future.
These guys have done the math, and they like the numbers they're seeing. Graduates will leave here and start at jobs that pay close to $30 an hour. That's 60 grand a year base, 6 figures easy with overtime. Maybe that's why there's a waiting list here with more than 400 names on it. Can you make close to the same amount of money welding as you did in finance?
Yeah.
So Peter Halpern, who knows something about life-changing decisions, having enlisted in the Army on 9/11, is changing the color of his collar because it feels like the safest and most secure thing to do.
This is my office. That's how I look at it. Very simple.
And how do you like your new office?
I like my office. You know, it doesn't have a window anymore, but I can live with that.
We've come to Tampa to talk jobs because Florida's lost more jobs in the last year than any other state. And Tampa's been hit especially hard, full of the kind of swing and independent voters. Both candidates have been here courting heavily, the block of voters that may very well decide this election.
Small businesses provide 16 million jobs in America, and Americans know that raising taxes on small business will kill those jobs.
John McCain's plans to create more jobs start with taxes. He's pledged to keep taxes on small businesses capped at 35% and cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%. The idea is to free up cash and expand payrolls.
In this economy, raising taxes is the surest way to turn a recession into a depression.
I will eliminate capital gains taxes for small businesses and startups.
Barack Obama also proposes tax relief for small businesses so they have money to grow. He says he'll end tax breaks for larger companies that send jobs overseas, and he'll offer a $3,000 tax credit for each full-time job a business creates through 2010. And Obama's linked job creation to ending the Iraq War. He wants to take what's now spent in Iraq, $10 billion a month, and use it to rebuild our crumbling national infrastructure instead, creating 2 million new jobs fixing roads and bridges.
We are going to create jobs of the future by transforming our energy economy.
But the centerpiece of his job creation policy is a call to spend $150 billion on clean energy over the next 10 years, creating 5 million more jobs in the process. Energy would be a huge source of jobs, according to McCain, as well. He's proposing 45 new nuclear power plants to be built by 2030 nationwide. That's 700,000 new jobs, he says.
Nuclear power is the most dependable source of zero-emission energy we have.
We can't wait to educate the next generation of Americans with the skills and knowledge they need to compete with any workers anywhere in the world.
For worker retraining, Obama would expand apprenticeship programs and offer flexible education accounts for displaced workers. McCain wants to reform unemployment insurance to focus on retraining, emphasizing community colleges and technical training centers. Just like the one at the Union Hall near Tampa, where Peter Halpern is learning to weld.
I'm looking at your hands, all right?
Yeah, hands are a little dirtier and a little more ate up than it used to be. But
This is not what it looked like coming home from a day at the office when you were in finance.
no, they were a little more manicured than this.
The economic downturn may mean both candidates need to reconsider their job creation plans. But for now, both offer something for Halpern. He could directly benefit from McCain's calls for nuclear power plants, as well as Obama's plans to fix our infrastructure. But this undecided voter, won't make his choice based on who's got the better jobs plan.
My position was to look at things from a 10, 15, 20-year position when we're looking at a president, when we're looking at a 4-year position.
So there's nothing one of these two guys is going to say on job creation or job training that's going to sway you one way or another in terms of voting for one or the other?
No.
He's more concerned with fixing America's reputation abroad. As far as getting a job, Peter Halpern figures he's good to go no matter who's elected. And if you think he's happy, try his wife.
But I already have quite a few projects around the house and in the yard.
For him to will?
Absolutely. So he gets to use his newly acquired skills.
Turns out there is a price to pay for his newfound security, after all. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Tampa.
Tomorrow night, another special Campaign 08 series, Presidential Questions. John McCain and Barack Obama respond to questions that include, when is the last time you cried and why? Coming up next tonight, the McCain campaign likens Barack Obama's tax plan to socialism. But is that really straight talk? We'll have a reality check.
And government...
Out on the campaign trail, John McCain and Sarah Palin get some of the loudest applause when they attack Barack Obama's tax plan. They say it amounts to a redistribution of wealth or socialism. But are the attacks valid? Here's Wyatt Andrews with a reality check.
McCain calls it one of the biggest differences between him and Barack Obama. The claim that most of Obama's tax cuts are actually government giveaways.
Senator Obama's plan to raise taxes on some in order to give checks to others, it isn't a tax cut. It's just another government giveaway.
On this claim, McCain has a point. Obama has proposed 4 new refundable tax credits, which are different from tax cuts or deductions. The refundable designation means that millions of taxpayers who don't normally owe income taxes would get refund checks from the government. But here's where the McCain campaign stretches the facts.
Now is not the time to experiment with socialism.
To Governor Palin, Obama's plan reeks of socialism. This McCain web ad calls it welfare.
To give welfare to those who pay none.
The welfare claim is false. To get Obama's new refund checks, most taxpayers would have to have a job, a home mortgage, or save $1,000 a year. It is not the old concept of money for nothing.
Welfare has these connotations of someone who's poor, who's just sitting at home, who's not working. And the Obama plan actually rewards people who are working.
It's also ironic for McCain to attack Obama for proposing refundable tax credits. It's exactly what McCain proposes for his health care plan.
With a $5,000 refundable tax credit to help them purchase health care insurance.
And McCain would pay for that tax credit by taxing the richest Americans with the most expensive health insurance plans. In other words, both of these candidates are funding some of their biggest promises with Robin Hood economics. Katie?
Wyatt Andrews in Washington. Wyatt, thank you. In other news, a major recall of defective cribs blamed for the deaths of 2 babies. The recall involves nearly 1.6 million cribs made by Delta Enterprise and sold between 1995 and 2007. It is the biggest crib recall in U.S. history. Parents are being told to check the safety pegs that are meant to keep the drop side from detaching. Still to come, a new way of letting off steam right after this break. Finally tonight, everybody's under stress these days, whether it's the economy or pressure at work or taking care of the kids, you name it. So what do you do when you reach the breaking point? Well, break something. Here's Ben Tracy.
The sashimi comes in a rectangle and a square.
Sarah Lavely knows all about fragile things and fragile times.
Times are hard. People are frustrated. People are under stress.
So she recently opened a store, or shack, in San Diego, where if you buy it, you can break it.
So come here, spend a few bucks, smash my stuff.
Kelly and Steve Simon came to shatter some stress. They're worried about everything from their savings to their jobs.
What frustration are you bringing to the Smash Shack today?
Work.
Work?
Absolutely.
So they and their friends let their frustrations fly.
You're not supposed to break stuff.
And the fact that you freely can is a little shocking.
When the Smash Shack opened up a couple of months ago, it could have been a really bad time to start a new small business. But in fact, the economy's troubles have turned it into a smashing success. Sarah has seen her profits double since she opened the shack in August, an idea she first got during a bad divorce.
I was at my mom's house and I really couldn't smash her stuff, but I needed more smashing.
So now she loads up her store with restaurant rummage. Customers pay to take a crack at it, and she donates the leftovers for art projects. These days, smashers often write down their concerns, including everything from 401ks to gas prices to presidential candidates.
I feel a little more energized and, I don't have those frustrations kind of weighing down on me.
Because she now has a little less on her plate. Ben Tracy, CBS News, San Diego.
And that is the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Easy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.